Hello again. Welcome to AirJobBoss TV. You are so lucky to be here. I am the AirJobBoss, and today we are going to go over basically general pilot job search technique, interview, blah, 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 subject matter. And today is just a brief explanation, some guidance about attending job fairs. Now, there are several job fairs that occur across the country. These can be the airlines themselves holding a job fair. This could be a third party holding a job fair where a bunch of airlines attend the same thing. And so, or it can be a professional organization, women in aviation. I don't know. There's all kinds of organizations that promote groups of individuals to try to get them into aviation, and oftentimes they have a job fair. So professional organizations, charitable organizations, and even these air shows like where did I go last year? Oshkosh. At Oshkosh, basically all the airlines have a booth, and they're in an effort to recruit. All the colleges, the flight schools also do. So I would really encourage you to attend these job fairs if you can, and just search online for pilot career job fairs and try to attend one. This is an excellent way of networking, right? And networking is so important. Basically, I used to say for every hour of flight time, you should be spending 15 minutes in networking. And I think that's probably a pretty good idea. All right, so attending job fairs, like I said, go online and find a job fair and plan to attend it. Now, you will find a wide variety of what people dress, what people show up in at a job fair. Even the people that are representing the airline now are more and more casual. You'll see them in a pair of slacks, sometimes jeans, and a polo shirt with the logo with their airline on it, right? This is how I go to a job fair. And some people have seen me at a job fair, recognized me from these videos at a job fair, and I'm not even trying to get a job. This is the way, in my eyes, you would show up to an interview. So I would recommend, however if there's a target airline there, for example, if it's SkyWest, Mesa Airlines, Piedmont, Republican, American, United, Delta, Atlas, UPS, whatever these, dress as if you were going to their interview, because they're going to be looking at you like, okay, should we invite this person to an interview? And it's when you're dressed like this for Delta, and you got a red tie, and they're like, he looks like he already works here. Well, if he shows up like that, at least I won't be embarrassed by inviting him, But if you're not dressed properly, like, I hope he's not going to show up like that, at the interview. I'm not recommending this guy show up, right? Okay, so dress properly. That is pretty simple advice, all right? Now, one of the main goals is to collect airline contacts. Get the person's name. It's really important. And I will take a binder. I'll actually take this very binder, and so I'll be like, okay, I'll be like, hi, how are you doing? My name is blah, blah, blah. I have this company and stuff, and I was wondering if I could ask you a couple of questions. What's your name? Oh, my name's Jennifer. Oh, cool, Jennifer. What's your last name? Jennifer Flores. Oh, Jennifer Flores. That's a really cool name. All right. And then you ask your questions. The reason why it's so important to get people's name, because at the end you're going to say, Ms. Flores, would it be possible that I get a contact email or phone number from you to, in case I have any questions in the future? And then you're going to get that contact if you can. Some will say, I'm sorry, we don't give out contacts to our human resources department personnel. That's normal because everyone would be bugging them. They would get nonstop emails like, when can I be interviewed? And how many pilots are you hiring? So you may not, but number one, if you get it, then of course you follow up the process. As in my networking video, you send contact emails, thank yous, all that kind of stuff, and you have a direct person to contact there should you have any questions and check on your application. But if you don't, at least during the interview when they say, why do you want to work here, you can refer back, well, it all started when I attended a job fair at this location and I met Miss Flores, who is one of your recruiting representatives. I was speaking with her about your company, and these are the reasons why. And they're like, oh, okay. They've spoken to somebody who actually works here, and they're knowledgeable. They're not just coming in off the street and want, a quick buck being an airline pilot. They've chosen this airline somewhat intelligently, or at least rationally, in that manner. So collect airline employee contacts. Secondly, collect fellow job seekers contacts. So make a note that you're going to basically talk to 3 people. Now, if generally at job fairs where there's several companies, people stand in line to talk to the representative. The person that's next to you in line start a conversation and say, what do you make of this airline? Why do you want to work at this airline? Why did you choose this airline? Hey, if you don't mind, can I get your email or your contact information from you, and we can kind of share information on whether we get an interview or not? That kind of thing. And that builds your network, okay? So you're going to collect airline contacts. You're going to collect other contacts of other pilots. You are going to ask questions of the airline. So you're going to stand in line. You're going to get in front of this recruiting representative. And what are you going to say? Hi. First thing you're going to is introduce yourself. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm really happy to be here and be able to meet you. This is my resume. These are my qualifications. And then you're going to tell them if you have an application in. I applied to your airline about 3 months ago, and I update regularly, but I wanted to come by and talk to you in person. And they're going to say, oh yeah, what can I do for you? And then you're going to ask them some questions. Now you're going to ask them like intelligible questions that you're curious about maybe. Hey, I know you guys ordered this type of airplane. Do you have schedule on the delivery? That's kind of interesting because you're interested in being a pilot, right? And you want to fly airplanes. That's very exciting. So that's a normal question. Also, can you tell me, has anything changed? This is really important. Has anything changed in your hiring process lately? And they're going to say, oh yeah, well, we dropped the simulator requirement. We no longer have pilots do a simulator assessment. Oh, really? Why was that? Well, we found that we really need the simulator time to train the pilots we have on staff right now, so we just felt that it was too expensive and took up too much sim time for other needs. So now we incorporate more psychometric and analytical cognitive testing. Oh, really? Can you recommend a good preparation for those testing? They might even tell you, yeah, the best one that mirrors what we do is this company. So investigating about their hiring process, this is a legitimate question that I never thought to ask when I was young. I just never thought to ask it. And why not? It was really just ignorant of me. I was asking things like, is the company growing? What aircraft have on order? How long to upgrade? What other opportunities do you see? Those kind of things. But ask them about their assessment process. Also, you're going to ask this. You're going to say, based on my resume and my qualifications, what do you consider other improvements that I can be working on right now to give myself a better chance of being selected for an interview at your company? That question alone might be the difference between who they choose. I was at a job fair and I really wanted to work for an airline that uses these colors, and I don't work for that airline. It was the first major airline interview I got, and I failed the interview. I was really excited, but not properly prepared. I thought I did really good, but that was not the case because I did not get the job. Anyway, I remember standing in line at a job fair for this airline, and I finally got to talk to a very well-known recruitment. He was the head of recruitment. And I was asking my questions, and he said, well, you're very prepared. You came with them written down. I said, well, it's a long line, and I didn't want to forget some of the most important information I wanted to ask you. He's like, all right, well, thank you so much. Have a nice day. And I wasn't satisfied that I made an impact. So I said this. I said, Mr. Ryan was his name. You know, Mr. Ryan, there's a lot of airlines here, and I could have stood in any airline's line. This line was long, a lot like the other airlines' lines, to talk to their representatives. But this is the line that I stood in. This is the airline I truly want to work for. And I just stopped. And he's like, what was your name again? Because you wore a name badge. And he's like, I'm like, it's Blaine Dapper. He's like, thank you for coming. And I got an interview 3 weeks later. So just asking the right question or saying the right thing can get you that interview very quickly. So keep that in mind. Make a statement. That was the next thing on my list. And that example of that I just told you is making a statement. You're going to just make a statement, a clarified statement that is going to let them know that this is the airline you truly want to work for. And you're going to say, out of all the airlines, this is the airline I want to work for. How long do you think it'll take to get an interview based on my experience? Okay. Hand over a proper resume. In every airline job search book, including the one I'm writing, there is a chapter on proper resumes. And I thought everybody knew this. When I was young, we studied every resume. We got every friend's resume. And all the resumes looked very similar. They were standardized. And I appreciate the standardization of it. I think it's very important. But I see a lot of non-standardized resumes that are not worded properly, do not focus on the proper words, do not have the proper requirements of what the company needs to see on it. So apparently resume writing is something that is a little bit of a skill that a lot of people don't have. So if you want to send me a resume, you can send me a resume at info@airjobboss.com, and I will critique it. But you'd have to write the target airline that you're trying to get a job in, because that's very important on how that resume is written. But by all means, make sure you've got a proper resume printed on quality paper, because you might think your resume is just fine on flimsy copy paper up until it's against someone who has a thick, nice weighted paper, and yours look like, wow, this guy's cheap. Why are we going to hire him? He doesn't even care enough to buy 25 cents worth of paper to give us a resume on. Yeah? Okay. So please hand over a properly written and properly printed resume. As I bend down over here to see what I get, and that was it. Then, of course, dress properly, which we started off at the beginning. Sorry, this is a relatively long video anyway at AirJobBoss. We like to be complete here, just like we would be thoroughly complete on your personal preparation. And if you have an important interview coming up soon, click the link below at airjobboss.com to find out more how I prepare you for your next airline interview. Thank you.